Okay, so today we are observing our second lecture for your this credit number 2 and unit number 1, wildlife habitats of the wildlife diversity. In aquatic water condition, aquatic. Yesterday we have seen about fresh water. So today we are observing about the marine water conditions are there. So already we are knowing the total earth surface. It is having an aquatic ecosystem. 71% earth surface covered by the water, ocean water. About 97% of water on the earth, it is generally having the ocean water. In marine ecosystem, as it is to be supposed as therefore the large diversity species are there. So just you observe some good photographs along with this one. So how are the habitats in the different water conditions are there. We are knowing in hydrophytes there are different plants are there, the floating forms, then submerged forms, submerged rooted, but they are rooted type. Some are the floating on this one. Secondly, the ocean is as it is to be supposed as the lifeblood of the earth surface, as 70% of oxygen human consumes, which comes from the marine plants in the ocean, right? So this is very nice cycle is there. You see how is the rainfall is there. So ocean water evaporate, it cool down, forms a cloud, again fresh water supply is there. So it is the god's gift, I suppose, and God, he is having the blessing to us. So oceans are responsible for removing the CO2 from the atmosphere and produce the oxygen supporting earth life, right? So whatever our living organisms, we are totally depend on this ocean system, marine system, and therefore it having the different diverse ecosystems are there. So how they are, we will see the one by one. According to NOAA, only the about 5% of the ocean is explored up till now. I think you are knowing there is an Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean. These are very deep oceans are there. I think about having the 4,000 meter or more than this. 4,000, 1,000 meter means the 1 kilometer. So like this, there is a depth of the ocean is there. About two-third part of the ocean species are yet to be discovered, and 95% of the ocean, it is totally unexplored. The basic need of an ecosystem is the O2, CO2, sunlight, and the nutrients, food, and minerals are there. So in this one, you are observing the photograph of these fishes and this one. The significant physico-chemical parameters on the ecosystem. Physico-chemical, that is the they are necessary for the diversity. They are required for the spawning, breeding, and the reproductive activities are there, right? Reproductive, you see the screen, you may take the screenshot, I will send the PDF. Secondly, there are the certain poor, some species are there, they may fall down for the reproduction. So there is having a balanced physical environmental condition is seen in the ocean. In the marine ecosystem, mainly three four types are there: coral reef ecosystem, deep sea, kelp forest, like our trees. There are the large oceanic trees are there. We will see the example. Polar seas are there, and the open ocean is there. So this is the one part. Then what is coral reef? I think coral word you have listened firstly anywhere, but here as actually it is a polyp is a tubular sac-like animal with a central mouth surrounded by the tentacles are there. The base is attached to the substrate. So as we are knowing, certain like your hydra plant you are knowing, but here these corals, they are attached to the base. Tentacles are there, pharynx are there, mouth is there. Then you see this photograph, and therefore They are to be having the different genera are there. Coral reef are diverse underwater ecosystem. They held together by calcium carbonate structures. They covered by the calcium carbonate. चुनखडी म्हणतो आपण त्याला. Right. Then corals are believed to have the highest biodiversity than any other ecosystem. The rich biodiversity in ocean, the corals, it is having about the 33% of the marine. Different coral reefs, they show the symbiotic relationship with the unicellular algae and the zooxanthellae are there. Algae, zooxanthellae, that is the related with the animal oriented. There are some examples are there. Morea eel is there, common octopus is there, then brittle star is there, sea pen is there, right? These are good. Then barracuda is there. So remember this, how the corals are developed. There are the different conditions, effect of temperature on coral reef. So basically, without xanthellae, these corals turn white because the algae provide the food and require the color by the photosynthesis. Then white unhealthy corals are called as bleached corals, right? Then there are the bleached corals are weak, have the reduced growth rates, which are decreased reproductive activity, and the susceptible to the diseases are there. The coral bleaching affect the complete marine ecosystem and the biodiversity. With decline in the genetic and the species diversity occur. The deep sea ecosystem represent the habitat on the earth about 200 meter to the bottom of the ocean, right? The deep sea zone is now showing the light zone or the aphotic zone. Aphotic means where light is not reaching. Then extreme pressure and the cold water is required. So certain examples are there. Mostly the deep sea ocean is there, as you are knowing. They shows 4 to -1 degree Celsius sea is there. They generally in Antarctic Ocean about -1.9 degree Celsius temperature is there. The most predictable physical hydrostatic pressure, about 10 meter increase in the depth of pressure increases by 1 atmosphere. So it is unit of the this. So deep sea is having the specific character. Then nextly, as you are knowing, in the deep sea, these coral reefs they shows the mounds formation or the depressions. They are due to the benthic animals are there, worms, mollusk, then crustaceans, starfish, right? So these are very specific. The organisms commonly found as the biotic feature. So we are knowing the anglerfish, jellyfish, octopus, giant clams are there. Therefore, there we should require to know this type of the character. You see, these are the different organisms present in the deep sea, and they show the clearly due to the bioluminescence and the fluorescence type of the property. Bioluminescence means they brittle, आपण ते रातकिडे वगैरे म्हणतो ना, हे चमकतात, काजवे म्हणा किंवा ते त्या टाईप इन द फिश having in the water. Then secondly, the good examples are there. You see jellyfish is there, or the gorgonian feeding on the basket star. Then deep sea bottom with the fish, right? Then there is having the one good example is there. This is the radiolaria. Then isopod are the good example. Polychaete worms are there, right? Nematodes are there. You see the squid, many light organs are there. So how the coral reefs are developing, I think it is very interesting part is there. We go through it properly. Then kelp forest. So this is our botanical part, because kelp is nothing but it is a larger algae, and it develops like a forest like development under the water. So kelp forest are large brown algae that live in the cool shallow water, and they grows about the 20 inches per day. 20 inch per day, I think in the 1 feet 30 12 inches are there, so near about 1.5 feet growth is generally seen every day, and therefore they form very larger the film like large film like structure is there. These they grows underwater and provide the food and shelter. I think the maximum food material of the Japan 40% it is based on this brown algae. They have developed the different soups are there, others are there, and it is very interesting. After processing, they are having the different foods are there, fast food, right? So you see the photograph of the kelp in the open sea, generally area. These are the areas that are not near to the shore. म्हणजे आतमधला समुद्राचा ओपन ओशन असतो, सो इट इज कॉल्ड ॲज द ओपन ओशन, अँड इट शोज द व्हेरी लार्ज फिशेस लाईक द फेल्स आर देअर किंवा शार्क आर देअर. असे मोठे मासे त्या ठिकाणी असं ओपन सीमध्ये असतात. देन पोलार सी इज देअर, सो इट इज generally polar means north pole and the south pole, so it is covered with the ice cover. वरती आईस कवर असतो, त्याला आईस बग्स म्हणतात, हिमखंड, आणि त्याच्या खाली वॉटर लेवल. मग अशा कंडिशनमध्ये जनरली सम डायव्हर्सिटी इज देअर, सो दे आर डॉमिनेटेड बाय आईस, स्नो and the cold temperature. The animals such as polar bears, beluga, then whales, krills, then seals, and the penguins, birds. These are the commonly occurring at this condition. Then our coastal ecosystem, it is very interesting, as it's showing about the 1/3 part of the world it is coastal. In this one you are heard the names now up till now. Mangrove plants are there, right? Then sandy seashore, rocky seashore, barrier islands, and the estuarine part. Estuary means what? Where the river joins to the ocean. This portion it is called as the estuary. म्हणजे भरतीच्या वेळेला समुद्राचं पाणी आतमध्ये येतं आणि पूर आल्यानंतर नदीला फ्लड आल्यानंतर इट गोज द फ्रेश वॉटर. सो ऑलवेज देर इज अ मिक्सिंग ऑफ ओशन वॉटर अँड द fresh water, river water. So this region it is called as estuarine. Then mangroves having the typical character. These are shrubs, trees which grows in the saline water habitats in the certain regions. Our Indian parts, south and the eastern side, up to the western side, up to the Goa. So there are the mangroves are reported in the different parts. The distribution it is based on the climate, salinity, fluctuation of tides, and the type of the soil, right? Different common plants of the mangroves are there. Certainly mangroves commonly which includes at least 20 fish species and 20 reptiles, then amphibian species 15, and the mammals having about the mammals and 150 types of birds. They are living in there for they provide the food, or they get the food from the mangroves, then used for nesting, and certainly acting as a nursery areas. Then the common are the red mangroves, black mangroves, buttonwood mangroves, string lily. These are the common types. White mangroves are there. Mangroves having the one character, nematophores are there. So plant either it is a tree, but these are commonly called as the breathing roots, right? So they shows the respiration process through from this one, relieving of the oxygen and the taking of the CO2. Then other part is there, rocky shores are there. So this is a one good photograph of the rocky area. Here in our Maharashtra Ratnagiri portion it is showing the rocky shore. Then there is a, so in this particularly The specific habitats are there, algae are there, then different limbs are there, rocks are there. The temperature generally it is tolerated, and therefore life on the rocky shore, marine algae, birds, then crabs, lobsters, stars, fishes, seals, and sea lions are there. Commonly sea lions means large fishes are there. Certainly other part of the ocean is there, barrier islands means what, there is only soil region and it is totally surrounded by water. So like our Andaman Islands are there. So in the barrier islands, these are the coastal landforms are there at the coast, and they are the exceptionally flat, or they shows the so they're covered by the sand. In the high tide and low tide, they are covered sometime for the water, and later on they are under the they are exposed. So there are the different types of the chains are there in our Andaman Islands. I think about 350 islands are there. This is our part of India. So near about the 50 or 60 islands are only usable, and others are generally very smaller, or uh, there is no any location population, right? So these are the some main all characteristics for the this our marine habitats are there. So you remember these types. Okay, so next our third lecture we will see on the brackish water, that is estuarine water conditions are there. Okay, so thanks to all, wish you all the best.